And we're live. Welcome to another edition of RockSim Live. I am back in the saddle again. Last week we had Martin McKee doing RockSim Live. I was away visiting my daughter at college. She had a diving competition, so I was down there watching her. She's a really good diver, but she's really diving against some really, really good divers. So, well, she didn't do as well as she hoped. I was impressed. And this week she's on a training trip, and next week she's got another competition, and I'm looking forward to that. She's doing stuff off the 10-meter board, you know, like you see in the Olympics. She's got nerves of steel. So how are your nerves today? I'm hoping that you're doing well. This is RockSim Live. We're here to talk about RockSim software, and we have the chat bot going over here, not the chat bot, but the chat system. So if you have a question about RockSim, this is your chance to ask it. And we have a whole bunch of people that have already checked in. We have Jess Gordatowski from sunny Los Angeles, clear and 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius. Yes, Jeff, we are jealous. It's cold here today, and it's going to get even colder by next Monday. We have Max Delgado here. I think he's from South America. He says he's watching from the bathroom. Yeah, okay. We have Craig Hafferman. Hey, that's a new name I have not seen before. He's from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Chuck Garnes from Pittsburgh, and he's got a question. We got a lot of questions coming in, and we got 462 Tool from North Dakota, and he says it's minus 30 degrees there. I thought I had it bad. Okay, you win. We do not want to go to a minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit. That would be really, really cold. Oh man, you walk outside and your nose just freezes right up. I've been there. I don't want to do it again. Okay, so thank you everybody for checking in. Let's get some preliminary stuff out of the way. Let me see, I need to change screens. So let's go to show my desktop. So this is the Apogee website. It's apogeerockets.com. This is where you find RockSim. This is this little banner bar right here. So if you click on that banner bar, it will take you to a page where you can start downloading it. Download a free demo. You can purchase it. We have RockSim, RockSim Pro, and the Launch Visualizer. So RockSim is a 3 degree of freedom simulator. So that means the rocket can go up, the rocket can go left and right, and the rocket can pitch in one direction or the other direction. RockSim Pro is 6 degrees of freedom, which is those first 3, plus it can also go in and out. And then it can yaw. This was pitch. Yaw is this way, and then it can also roll, so it can spin like that. That's 6 degrees of freedom. And then we have the Launch Visualizer, which is just a simulator, where RockSim and RockSim Pro allow you to design a program. If you already have a design and you just want to run a simulation, then the Launch Visualizer is probably the way to go. And that's online. And that's online at rocksim.com. And you don't have to load any software. You just go there, input your RockSim file, and you can start running simulations. We are running a RockSim Live right now. So if you're on the Apogee website, apogeerockets.com, and you see this here on the main screen where it says free RockSim training every week, this is what we're doing. This is RockSim Live. This is your chance to ask questions about RockSim. If you click on this, it'll take you to our archive page. This is, we're on episode 152 today. Today is January 12th. This is what Martin talked about last week, and I did watch the replay on YouTube, and yeah, Martin's really good. He knows RockSim almost as good as I do. He did mention that he needs his own login for the Launch Visualizer, and we'll get him that so he can run simulations in the Launch Visualizer, because that's just, just blows your mind. It's just so cool. Anyway, so that's that. If you go to the How To and Guides menu, and then you come down here to Software, and over here again, you can download the free trial. There's the frequently asked questions. We have the version history. We have video tutorials. Again, we have the RockSim Live training right there. So that's all the good information that you can find. All right, so, excuse me. Maximum Delgado says he's from Chile. Cool. We also have Robert Farrer. He is here. He says, many thanks for the smooth transition from RockSim 9 to 10. Also, I really like the new Catalyst and the Aspire kits that arrived the other day. Cool. I just ate lunch. We have Eric Sobol. He says, hi from the Pilot's Lounge in Burbank. He's sitting on standby, just waiting to take off, I guess. And Maximum Delgado says, next live, it needs to be how to make a model rocket design. Well, that's what we're here for today. So maybe we can design something for you. And we have Rosa from Canada. So we have an international audience. Okay, so the first question was from Jeffrey Gortowski, who's in sunny Los Angeles. He says he's building the TTV. And if you go to the Apogee website and you type in TTV and hit, it's behind the menu here. Here we go. Hit the menu, type TTV, and this is what he's talking about. This is a two-stage rocket, and what's unique about it is that it has an electronics bay right here, right in front of the upper stage motor. And that presents a problem, because that problem is you got electronics right in front of the rocket motor. And when the ejection charge goes off on the rocket motor, it's got to go somewhere. So what we did is we created like a little Lambert, like a little tube that runs around the electronics bay, so that the ejection charge can get out and push the nose cone off. And his question is, should I put a coat of light epoxy on that baffle area to prevent it from being cooked? And the answer is, yeah, go ahead. I think I would. I think I've done it that way. I've actually used what was it called? Band-Aid. If I can spell it, A-I-D-E. Let's type it in that way. See, there it is, Band-Aid. This is an epoxy, and the nice thing about it is it's a clay. So it comes in a long tube, and you just take a knife and you just slice off how much you need, and you just mix it together, and it will stay where you want it to stay. And so I just flatten it out into a sheet, and then just stick it on that rear centering ring part on the TTV, and let it cure. And you can have the rocket in any orientation, and it's going to stay where you put it. So I really like the Band-Aid, and you can also use the Fix-It, which is similar, but this stuff is hard in 5 minutes. It's just like that. It's really good for minor, quick repairs. I really like that stuff. So yes, go ahead and do that. The next question was from Chuck Garnes from Pittsburgh. And he sent me an email, and his email was that he bought an Estes Great Goblin. And I thought I had opened that up. Yes, I did. Okay, so it's on this screen right here. So this is the Estes webpage. This is the Great Goblin, and it's a 4-fin design. And he couldn't find a RockSim file for it. So the question is, and he was having a problem putting the fins into RockSim. So he was asking, what's the best way to get the Great Goblin into RockSim? Should he download a RockSim file for the Goblin and then just upscale it? So now the Goblin was an old Estes kit. And I did a research on that as well, and I found this on rocketreviews.com. And I wish I could see this. Let's see if I open it in a new tab, see what happens. It's taking long. There it is. Okay, so here's the Goblin. And it was based on I'm trying to figure out what size tube this is. I think it's a BT50, but let me see if I can find. Okay, so there is a RockSim file for that, and you can download it from rocketreviews.com. Okay, so it's an Estes body tube, and it's 1.01 inches. So that's like a BT50 size tube. And the Great Goblin is 3 inches in diameter. And I found that from going to the specs here, the diameter right here, 3 inches. So one way you could do it is just open up the Goblin kit and upscale it. And so that's what I did here. I opened that file that I downloaded from rocketreviews.com, and I haven't done anything yet to it. So this is the Goblin. So it's not the Great Goblin because this has got a diameter of 1.32 inches. So that's a different diameter than what it said on Rocket Reviews. I swear it said over here. Maybe that's the motor mount. I'm just looking to see if I can see if custom. It's got all these dimensions here. I don't know what all these dimensions are because this is, I don't know. Estes BT 1090. I don't know. So basically, you'd have to start from, anyway, if you were to upscale, you would start from whatever RockSim file you had. So since this is 1.325 inches in diameter, so first we got to figure out what scale it is that we're going to scale this up to, because there's a feature here under the Rocket menu. You do that, you can do a scale and buy a scale factor. So you need to know what scale factor it is. And to get that, you got to do a little bit of math. So get out your calculator, and I'll bring up a calculator here. Okay, so here's a calculator, and we're going to take 3 inches, because that's the new size, and we're going to divide it by this diameter right here, 1.325. Divided by 1.325 equals 2.2641. So we're going to copy that, and then I'm going to take that and I'm going to paste it right there, and it didn't paste. Was it 46? 2.264. 2.264. And we hit scale, okay, and what happened was it just scaled it up, and it's just a smidge under 3 inches, so that's close enough. So when you do that, now your fin has been scaled up. However, there are some problems with this design, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago when we talked about scaling rockets. If you look at the motor mount diameter, so here's the engine holder tube. If I open that up and we look at this, we have an inside diameter of 2.15 inches. So that's massive. I mean, that's bigger than a 54 millimeter. You know, it's 54 points. You could put a 54 millimeter in it, but you're probably not going to fly this 3-inch kit on a 54 millimeter tube. So that's the one issue that we talked about, and you can see that by going back to the archives on the website. You know, just come here and come down here, and I think that was just like 2 weeks ago. Okay, how to upscale your fins right here. So that was episode 149, and here's the link to it. So that's one way to do it, is just to scale up the rocket. Another way to do it is, let me cancel out of this, is you can upscale the fin by itself. But basically it's the same thing. You're going to scale by the scale factor, and then you're going to save the fin by itself. So to do that, you go here to the fin. You got to find the fin, open the fin, and this is a custom fin. Custom fin means it's not a trapezoid. It looks sort of like a trapezoid, but to be a trapezoid, you have to have 2 parallel edges, and there's not 2 parallel edges on this fin at all. So that's what makes it a custom fin. And if you come here to the plan points on a custom fin, right here, this button is the scale button. And if I click on that, again, it brings up that scale factor thing, and then you can scale it. So, you know, if I scaled it by, you know, 2, you're going to see that the size of this fin is going to be twice as big. And it is. It's twice as big, and it actually shifted it. It scaled everything on the fin, including the location from where it was. So I'm going to say from the base of the owning part, I'm going to say 0. Just to show you how big that fin got. At this point, what you could do is you can go to the database tab, and you can save this into the database. So we could say super size, this is an Estes, or you can say custom manufacturer, you know, 2X. And you can give it a different description, you know, great, Goblin, super sized fin. And then you can save it to the database. And you're going to get this screen, and then you just click OK. And so now I've just saved that particular fin to the database. And so now to use that fin, I'm going to open up a new design. And let's see what we can open up here. I just want to basically a rocket without fins on it or something similar. If I go to my RockSim designs, here's the catalyst. I'm going to open up the catalyst. Save the changes to this? No, I don't care. Yeah, let's see if it's going to crash on me, because it usually crashes when you're opening a new design. Nope, it didn't crash. Okay, so here's the catalyst. And it already has fins on it, so I'm going to take those fins, I'm going to take them off. So I'm going to delete the fins. I'm going to say yes. Okay, so now my fins are gone, and now I'm going to add fins back. So I'm going to select the tube where I'm going to add them. And then I'm going to come down here to custom fins. And when you click on that, and my computer's running a little slow today. I got too many things open at once, I think. Let me start closing some things up, free up some memory. Okay, so what happened was, I got RockSim popping up over here. It's looking in the database. So this blue fin is just a random shaped fin that it puts on the rocket. But if I come down here and I look in the database, I should find my custom fin. That's this Super Goblin fin. Well, where is it? There it is, right up there. It was on the top. And you click OK. And it should draw it here in just a second. There it is. It drew the new fin on there. So that's another way to do it. So I'm going to click cancel out of here. Now the third way to do it, and this sounds like the way that he was described in his email to me. Basically, he had the fin because he bought the kit, and he traced the fin on a sheet of paper, and he got points for all the corners. And then he tried to input them into the design. So let's show you how to do that way. So this is a third way of doing fins. And what I've gone and done is I've got a piece of graph paper, because this is, and I recommend that you use a piece of graph paper when you're tracing fins, because it makes it easy to find the dimensions. So on this rocket here, I got two fins because this was a two-stage rocket, but let's just delete one of them. Come on, delete you. Okay, so random fin shape. The first thing you want to do is to put the corner of the fin, this is the corner that attaches to the tube, and it's the front edge. So this is the leading edge, and this is the body tube along here, and you want to put that corner right at an intersection of two of the lines. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to label all my points. So this is my 0, 0 point. So I'm going to get a text box and type in 0, 0. Okay, so then I'm going to measure all the points. So the next point we want to measure is this one right here. This is the back edge, and if I zoom in, so these red squares are 1 inch apart. So we got 1 inch, 2 inch, and here's 3 inch, so it's not 3 inch. And then these little blue squares on my graph paper are 1/10 of an inch. So I'm just counting across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 0.5, so that's 2.75 inches for this point right there. So that's 2.75 and 0, because it's 0 inches off the vertices, off the horizontal line. So that's the coordinates for that point right there. So now we can go to this point right here. So this red line is 3 inches. So we're going to call it 3.1, and we're going to estimate it 3.12, comma, and then how many inches is it off of here? So this is 1 inch right here, so it's not quite 1 inch. So this blue line right here is 0.9. And I'm going to call it 0.96. .96 inches. Okay, let's zoom out. Okay, so that's that point. Oops, I didn't want that. I was trying to make a new text box there. Okay, so now let's go to this one up here. This point right here is 1, 2. This blue line right here is 0.5, so we'll call it 2.53. I need my text tool. 2.53 inches, and then how many inches off this way? 1, 2, and we'll call it 2.44. 2.44. So that's that point. And then the final point is right here. And that one, oops, we'll call it, it's underneath this box right here. This box, go away. Okay, so this is 1 inch right here, this red line. So we'll call it 0.9, 0.95. And it's going to be on the same line as this. It's going to be 2.44. So 0.95, 2.44. So here are all my vertices that I need to put into RockSim. So I'm going to come here to, where'd my RockSim go? There it is. So we're going to add a new fin, and this is a custom fin, remember. So we're going to add custom fin. And it's running really slow. I got so many things running right now. Let me quit some things. See if that helps speed things up at all. Get rid of Spotify. Okay, so again, it's going to look into the database, and I'm going to cancel out of it this time. And we're going to go to the plan points. Let's see if I can make this window. Okay, so we need 5 points for this design, so I can just click on here to add a point, and that will give me 5 points. And now we're going to put in all the coordinates right here on this grid. So the 0, 0 point, point number 6 is the front one, and this point right here, where it attaches at the back end of the tube, is point number 1. So we're going to work in reverse order. So 0, 0 is that front point. So then the next one is 0.95 and 2.44. So that's this one. 0.95. Come on. 0.95. It's running so slow that it just crashed. All right, I got RockSim open. Let's go open recent catalyst. And let's get rid of these fins again. This is still running slow. This thing came up here, so okay, I don't care about that. Okay, rocket design components, come on. What can I close? I think it's this program here that with all the coordinates on it. Quit that. I'm going to take a screenshot of this, so I'm going to do all I need on that program is that. So I took a screenshot, and that way I can close this and try to free up some memory. Don't save. Okay, so back to RockSim. I'm going to clear out this fin. Now the fins that we have here are pretty small for this rocket. Let's close this too. Really delete this component, and I want to say yes. Okay. All right, so now we're going to add the fin back. I think you get the idea. So we want a custom fin. Anything else I can close? Let's close Microsoft Edge. Okay, so we've got the rocket drawn right there. Cancel out of the database, go to the plan points, and I need to find that viewfinder window. And put it on the desktop. There's that screenshot. Okay, close that. Okay, so here is my points. But just put it right behind everything. I can't see it. Now we'll have to go back and forth. How is this program? Preview. I'll just slide it off the screen here. Come on. Okay, so my first point, I need a fifth point, so I'm going to be here again and just click on it to add a point. Come on, add a point. It's just running so slow. Normally RockSim is blazing fast, but when I got so many things going on, you know, I got YouTube streaming and OBS software that runs it. Okay. Okay, so there's my 5 points, and what we'll do is this one is 0.95, so I got to double click it, 0.95, hit the tab, and this is 2.44, hit the tab again, so we're going to go to the next point, and that one was 2.53, and it's also 2.44. I'm going to go to this point. And this point was 3.12 and 0.96. And then the final point is 2.75 and 0. Okay, so that is the fin that we had drawn in the other program. So this doesn't look quite right. Something's wrong. This point right here is too high. 3.12. Let's see this point here. This didn't take. That should be 0.96. There we go. So now that's the fin, although on this particular rocket, it doesn't look right. But that was the fin that I had traced on the graph paper. And so I had used the exact coordinates for all the corners to put that onto RockSim. And then again, if you can save this to the database, you know, and then you can call up that fin for any other design. You don't have to, but that's just how it works. Okay, so I think that answers, that's all I can say, Chuck, about, you know, how to put a custom fin into RockSim. There was 3 different methods. One is we upscaled an existing RockSim design, or then the second one was we can upscale just the fin and save it to the database. And then the third way was we can enter the coordinates exactly from what we traced from the balsa sheet. Okay, let's see if we got any other questions. Okay, Craig Hefferman asks, how do I add an ejection charge baffle to my design in RockSim? Okay, so on this design here, let's go to 2D. And let's say we want to put a baffle right here where the parachute is. So let me pull the parachute and we'll just delete it just to get it out of the way. Oops, yes, let's delete it. Okay, so now the parachute's gone. This right here with the M on it is the shock cord. We'll leave that alone. This little tube right here is the launch lug. We'll leave that alone. So what is the baffle consist of? Typically it's two bulkheads and maybe a tube that runs through the middle. So adding a bulkhead is pretty easy. Just add the components the best that you can. What's important, if the components are on the inside of the rocket, the only thing that really matters is the mass and the location of that mass. So, so say your centering rings, instead of being concentric with the hole right in the middle, say your hole was off to one side. That's typical in a baffle. You got a hole off of one side where the ejection charge goes through, and then on the forward ring, the hole is on the other side, so that if you look at it from a side view, the gas goes up, and then it has to turn a corner and continue going up. I can actually do that. So let's create inside of here. We're going to put our centering rings in first. So you got to say where your centering ring is going to go. And I selected the body tube, and I'm going to cancel out of the database because that always brings up there first. Change this to a side view. Okay, so right now my centering ring is right there, and we'll call this one the back centering ring. Oops, too far back. Okay, so we'll go right there. We'll give it a thickness. Let's call it like a 1/4 of an inch, not 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch. So now it has thickness, and it's looking for an ID. So you can, let's call it a BT50 on the inside. So that's 0.976 inches. Did it take? Come on, it's just running so slow. Well, it won't take it unless I uncheck this. 976. Okay, so now it actually put a hole in that ring. We can't see it because it's from the side view, but the hole is right in the middle. So we'll call this aft bulkhead for baffle. Okay, so that's one ring, and now there's another ring like in front of that, and we can just duplicate this. So I'm just going to highlight it and do a copy, and then select the body tube and right click and then say paste, and it pastes another ring right on top. So now we need to change the location of one of these. So I'm going to change the location of this one, and I'm just going to slide it forward a bit. And we'll change the name to the forward bulkhead for the baffle. And this one also has a centering ring in it. So I can click OK. And let me take this body tube right here, and let's make it see-through. So to make it see-through so that we can see the holes, come here to color and change the opacity to, you know, something a real small number, or you can even make it 0 if you want, and just click OK. And now if I go here to the 3D, I made that tube clear so we can see through it, so we can see these rings on the inside as soon as it wants to draw it. And why is it not doing that? Well, because that there it is. That worked. Okay, so you can see the holes that are through the baffles, and now there might be a tube in here. Now if the tube is offset to one side or the other, it doesn't really matter for the weight. So let's put a tube in here. So I got to select that body tube. Come on. And then we're going to say an inside tube. Click over here. And it's running so slow. I'm sorry for that. It's just the way, I got just too much running on my computer right now. Because normally it's like blazing fast. All right, so this is the baffle tube. And I should have selected a diameter, so 0.976. I'm doing these numbers from memory, so 0.950. And we'll say the length is 2 inches. Okay, so I put it right there. And I'm going to take that tube and I'm going to slide it back. Oops, slid it too far. Okay, so you see what I did? I took that, I got my front baffle ring, my rear baffle ring, and I got a tube right there. And I'll say OK. And when we go back to the main screen, we should have a 3D view showing that tube on the inside. So there's the tube on the inside. So now, from a simulation point of view, it really doesn't matter that this is concentric, but in real life, you'd probably have it off to one side or the other. You might even have two tubes in here. You know, a short tube on this back and a short tube on the front. You could model that in RockSim, and I can show you how to do it, but it's really not going to make a difference when it comes to running the simulation, because when it comes to the simulation itself, RockSim only cares about the mass and where the mass is in relation to the center of gravity, where the rocket balances. If you wanted to move that tube off to the side, I would go, let's see, you go here to radial position, and see right now the radial distance is 0. And if I change that, you can see I moved it off to one side, like right there. And click OK. And when we see it in 3D, we'll see it off to one side. But you see the holes are still over there. So now if you wanted to move the hole over to here, you can do that too. So that's my aft bulkhead. And what we're going to do, as soon as it opens, while we're doing that, let me check here. Okay, so people have been telling me that the Goblin was a BT-55, not a BT-50. That's good. Okay, so here's the centering ring, and what we'll do is we're gonna just click this box right here, automatically calculate the known values. If I click on that, I want to see this in 3D, see if it moved. Yes, it did. You see that it actually did move that hole. And you could, if you can see through the tube, that will verify that it's not a bulkhead. So that could be a baffle. Typically, though, what you have is another tube on this baffle coming from this side, so the ejection charge has to come out of this tube where this sphere is. That sphere is the mass object for the shock cord. So the ejection charge comes out, has to come around this corner, go through that tube, and then turn the corner, come back down here, and then out through the tube that is not there. But that is how I would build a baffle in RockSim. If you wanted it to look exactly how you build it. But from a simulation standpoint, if I have two centering rings, it doesn't matter where the hole is, the centering ring is going to weigh the same. Because you're taking a circle and you're taking another circle out of it, and it doesn't matter where that other circle was located, it's still going to weigh the same. If you wanted to do just quick and dirty, that's what I would do. And if you wanted to do it even faster, you just weigh all your components and just use a mass object. That's the really fast way to do it. Okay, I'm checking the chat here to see if we got any other questions. Maximum Delgado wants a 3-stage design with cargo. Okay. The anti-band says, I just got the lock precision Goblin. There is a RockSim file for it. Just scale the fins. There you go. You can scale. You can start with a big one that's 4 inches in diameter and scale down, or you can start with the small one, which was a BT55, and scale up. Yeah, everybody was telling me it's a BT55. You guys are smart. You're smarter than me. Alfred Indy is here, and he says Terry Wheelock said that the snow is slowly slowing down your internet. It's cold here. We're not getting any snow right now. Chuck Garn says, thanks so much for the help. I really wish I would have thought to upscale. That would save me a lot of aggravation. Fatbank says, can RockSim run on an iPad? And the answer is no. However, I've got a solution for running simulations. Save my changes? No. And that is to run the launch visualizer. Now, the launch visualizer is in the cloud, and it can run on any web browser. So basically, you take your iPad and you open up your browser and you go to rocksim.com, and now you can run simulations. Now, you can't design a rocket in the launch visualizer, and you can't modify a rocket, but you can do anything you want with the simulation. So as soon as it's done loading, I can kind of show you that. Jeff Kortowski says, Thrust Curve used to have a simple simulator part of their app. Yeah, so here's the launch visualizer. So if you log in, and I have an account here, sign in. Okay, so I am now signed in. And if I go up here, you can see that I'm signed in, and I've only got 91 credits available. Because I was playing around this week and I was using up a lot of credits, and I was doing some weird stuff. So over here you can select the rocket design, and in my database I have already uploaded a ton of designs. But from the demo designs that come with the launch visualizer, there's 6 designs. And the reason we did that is every user has their own disk space, because your simulations, once you run them, are uniquely yours. So here we can, I can load a Zephyr. It loaded it right here, and it's going to draw it right here in just a second. And it's going to choose a high power launch pad, and there's my Zephyr rocket. And then you can choose a launch site, and who asked the question? That you can launch it on an iPad. That was Fatbank. And Fatbank was in what city? Texas. Okay, so we'll search for a launch site in Texas. Come on. My computer is just not liking today. There we go, Tripoli, Northern Texas. Click OK. And what it's going to do is search for that particular launch location, and then it's going to load a map of that launch site. And there's the launch site. And this right here is a little compass. The black arrow points north, so I'm swinging around so that north is up at the top of the screen. You can see this is 3D view. And, you know, I can see the horizon right there. I can look straight down on it. This looks like it's at the intersection of a grass runway somewhere. And so that's where my launch pad is going to be. And then I can change the launch angle. So I got a lot of room out to the east. So I'm going to angle the rocket, and I'm going to swing it around to the east just by dragging the sliders around. Okay, so now it's going, if I look on here, this is also three-dimensional. This just kind of gives me a view of, what am I doing wrong? I got to grab the right buttons. There we go. So if I look straight down on it, you can see I'm angled off to the east. And then you can look at the launch conditions. I've got a steady wind, and a steady wind, I'm going to make it 5 miles an hour, and it's coming out of the west. And we need to select a rocket motor. So this is just like RockSim. You choose your rocket engine. Come on, wakey, wakey. There we go. Let's choose an Aerotech H100W. And let's choose the delay. Let's make it a 10-second delay. Click OK. And then we launch it. And it tells me I don't have enough credits to run the simulation. Please purchase new credits. Oh, to get 10,000 credits is $7. That's cool. Let me go back to here. Let me go back to see if I'll choose a smaller rocket motor. So an H100 uses 229, and I only have 91 available. So, total credits. So here's my, let's sort by credits. Oh, I can't even run a G30 300. Let's choose a smaller rocket engine. Okay, so now if I scroll down, trying to grab this slider here. I'm looking at total credits. Okay, so let's sort by credits. Okay, so I can choose, I don't want a G12, I need something high thrust. So G74, 10-second delay, click OK. I think at 10 seconds I might be on the ground by the time the parachute comes out, so I better back it down to a 4-second delay. And now let's launch. And I have 91, and I can use 86, and I can simulate. And while that's running, Carlos in Marietta, Georgia says, regarding baffles, do baffles change the gunpowder volume needed for ejection charges? Typically, no, because they don't have a lot of volume that they're taking up. Okay, so this simulation ran, and let's click here. It should have brought this up on a big screen. Something happened because I'm getting 0 seconds. But the rocket reached 800 feet. Can I rerun that one? How many credits did I use up on? No, I still got 91 credits. Did I not click here to launch? Simulate. Come on. What goes on? It didn't simulate. But normally, it still didn't use up my credits. So for some reason, it didn't want to launch this design. But what it would normally show is the rocket taking off from your launch site. And that one was in Texas somewhere, and I'm not exactly sure where in Texas. Jeff Gortowski says, we're talking about the engine baffles. He says, can you make that an assembly, right? Okay, so that's back in RockSim. Let me close out of here. So he's asking is, can you put all these parts into a subassembly? And the answer is yes. But we need to create a subassembly. So I'm going to add the subassembly to this body tube. And then you come over here. The subassembly is this button right here. And it's asking, is the subassembly owned by the body tube? And you can say yes. And then what it's going to do is it's going to put the part here. And the subassembly part is a placeholder. So it's just where you can store other parts. And it's just taken forever. So we can call this Baffle subassembly. And you're going to give it a file name, but I'm not going to do that yet. We're just going to click OK for right now. We're going to come back to this screen and save it. Maybe. Because we're almost out of time, and it is acting so slow. And Jeff Gortowski says, if you save the Baffle as an assembly, you can use it over and over again in other designs, and that's true. Okay, so here is, there's my Baffle subassembly right here. So now we need to add parts to it. So I am going to take this part right here. I'm going to copy it. Actually, I'll cut it, which is when you cut, it actually copies it. And then you can paste it somewhere else. So then I'm going to come back up here to the subassembly. Come on. And right click on it and say paste. And I'm sure this is going to take a while. Robert Farr says credits. Yes, the launch visualizer does require credits. And when you subscribe, it's $3 a month, and I think for $3 a month you get 2,000 credits. And then you can get, if you want additional credits, you can buy additional credits. Like you saw on my screen, $7 gives you 10,000 extra credits. And those credits that you buy extra, they never expire. So where the 2000 will expire at the end of the month, or the end of the month that you 30 days after you create your account. Okay, so the forward bulkhead was added to the bulkhead, and then you would say, get your aft bulkhead, cut this one and paste it into the subassembly. Cut, yes. Click on the subassembly up here, and then you paste it in. So once you get all your parts into the subassembly, let me get this one in here, come on. Paste. Okay, so imagine that I put all my parts into this subassembly. So then you come back to the subassembly, you open it up, and now you need to save this subassembly onto your hard drive. And that's what happens when you open it up, and you can, it's just taking forever. Wakey, wakey. It doesn't want to open up. I'll give it one more try. I saw the spinny ball. There it is. Okay, so you give it a name. Baffle. We're going to call it a 3-inch baffle. And you're going to save it to a file, and it's going to look on your hard drive, and you get to select where it's going to go. You can put it anywhere you want. You give it a file name and you hit save. Once it's saved there, if you want to bring it into a new design, you open your new design. Then you add the subassembly part like we did earlier. You click over here, add that part, and then it'll bring up this screen, and then you click on load parts from a file, and if you click on that, then it'll bring you to your hard drive, and you just find your subassembly that you saved, and as soon as you load it, it will load that subassembly into your rocket. So that's a quicker way. And if you have a slow computer like mine, I would probably do it that way. Okay, so let's stop that because this is painful when it's running this slow. I do have an extra treat for you today. At 3 o'clock, which was just 3 minutes ago, I released a brand new rocket video, and this video is about how to make carbon fiber tubes like this one right here. It's very lightweight. This whole rocket right here, I just weighed it before this episode, and it's under 5 grams, and most of it is in the fins and the glue that I put on. But the video, I am doing a presentation at NARCon, which is on the 26th through the 28th. It's a virtual convention. And so you go to the NAR website and you can register there for NARCon, and it will give you the link. And then it's all online, so it's kind of like a giant webinar where you just watch, and you can be anywhere in the world. You could be in Chile, you could be in Canada. The NAR will take your money. And I am giving one of the presentations, and it's, as I said, it's about making carbon fiber tubes. And the video, I wanted to give like an introduction video on what you would expect from my presentation. And so it's kind of like 15 minutes, and in the video I show taking the parts out of the mold and then trimming them up and then talking a little bit about, you know, all that stuff that went into it. And this is kind of a teaser, but I think you'll learn something just from this free YouTube video. And then I said, if you want to get the whole thing, see the whole seminar that I do, that's going to be at NARCon. And I think that mine is actually on Saturday, the 27th. And so you're welcome to watch that. And it's going to be hard for me to do because making these tubes takes a couple hours, and they only gave me 50 minutes. So I have to condense everything to real short, and hopefully I'll get it all in. All right, so we are done for today. Next week we will be back again. And again, it's another one of these things. I might be gone, and if I'm gone, Martin will be here. And you can ask Martin all of your questions. Either way, we'll have RockSim Live. We're here to help you learn RockSim. So bring your questions. We love your questions. That's what we're here for. And I appreciate you coming again. And for those of you that are in North Dakota, where it's minus 30 degrees, stay warm. And if you're in Los Angeles, where it's nice and warm and sunny, I'm going to give you a countdown. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go out and launch something.